episode of the talk show. It has always been great having this time with you. A Merry Christmas to our cheerful viewers. My name is Seraphine Anyomi, your host. Our topic for discussion today is the heart which leads the body. Before we begin, I would like to introduce unto you our guest in the house. As usual, the only lady in our midst, Miss Felicia Enim, and our two gentlemen, Mr. Samuel Owusu and Mr. Edem Donyo. You are all welcome.
Thank you.
We are going to deliberate over the topic concerning a young gentleman called Julio. This story is from the previous lecture we listened to. And Julio is a young gentleman who traveled from New York to South America. And for a total of 20 years, he was doing drugs. He became a drug addict and he couldn't sustain a job. He would therefore steal and beg in order to buy drugs. He continued this kind of life and he became homeless. He started to sleep on park benches and he would pick from the garbage. One day, he felt strange because he was very hungry. He saw a piece of bread and picked it up, began to devour. All of a sudden, he realized the bread was a spoiled bread. He dropped it and fell into his thoughts. What kind of a person am I? Why am I living such kind of life? Other people buy fresh bread and eat, but I am here eating a spoiled bread. When he lifted up his eyes to see, he saw people of his age with their family in beautiful cars. They are holding hands together. Then he asked, would he ever marry? What kind of a woman would like to marry an addict like himself? Not quite long, he was arrested into the drug rehabilitation center. There he received process of change. Well, I want us to talk about what led to Julio's change, the processes that led to the change in Julio's life.
Okay, so for me, I would say Julio process of change began the moment he realized his life was a failure. After eating the sport bread, when he came into himself and he saw people around him living a happy life, some of their families, they are playing together and stuff. He realized himself, these are my mates. And when I check their life, they are doing well in life. What about me? I'm a drug addict. And who will even venture to give his or that for me to marry? And so this point, I could say this was the focal point for Julio to change his heart from being in the worst situation that he was. And so I could also relate this story to my life when I was in school. When I started schooling, this mathematics was one subject that I feared a lot. I used to learn alone. And whenever my results comes as in mathematics results comes, always I was at the last button. You understand? Yeah. And so I had some guys, always they excel. And I was like, how? We are in the same school. How come these people always excel? So I just had a mind. Why wouldn't I join them and see how they are able to learn to excel in that way? So in fact, when I went in with them, they started the way they are able to teach each other. Even though some of the topics that I saw was very difficult for me, the moment I opened my heart for them and then watch how they are able to come to conclusions of some formula. And so when I saw how they were able to come out with certain formulas which were so much difficult to me, I could realize that the next time when I mean, I was able to learn something from them, my math also improved.
Okay.
And so I could see that there's supposed to be a point in our life whereby we change our mind certain towards certain situations. Because if you want to be within ourselves and try to change, surely we cannot unless we receive from others. So I could see Julio was able to realize, come to himself that yes, I'm a failure, but if I'm able to open my mind and heart to people, those who are able to excel in life, then my life will surely change. So I believe that was the focal point of his life when he realized he needs a change.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm also happy when I realized that he had a change. And I realized the change actually started from his heart. Okay. So as he was able to change, to have that change, he was able to differentiate between himself and other people. He was able to differentiate how he was living miserably and how his friends were living very well. Yeah. So as he was able to do this also, I was happy because not everybody would be able to come to this point. And I think if you're able to think like this is wisdom. You get it? So this helped him. And then he was through this also, he was actually trying to fight against he living a miserable life. But quite unfortunate, he was arrested into the rehabilitation center.
All right.
Yeah. So such in our lives also, when we are living our lives and we have certain situations, we should be able to come out from those situations. We don't have to live within that situation.
Okay.
Okay, but Julio was able to come out, was able to change his heart, and through that, his life changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So, change is something that is very difficult. Um, for example, most especially when someone is addicted to doing something for over a period of time, it is really difficult, to have a change. But until we are able to discover that we are people who cannot change, we cannot, no matter how hard we try, we cannot change.
What kind of a person am I? Why am I living such kind of life? Other people buy fresh bread and eat, but I am here eating a spoiled bread. When he lifted up his eyes to see, he saw people of his age with their family in beautiful cars. They are holding hands together. Then he asked, would he ever marry? What kind of a woman would like to marry an addict like himself? Not quite long, he was arrested into the drug rehabilitation center. There he received process of change. Well, I want us to talk about what led to Julio's change, the processes that led to the change in Julio's life. What kind of a person am I? Why am I living such kind of life? Other people buy fresh bread and eat, but I am here eating a spoiled bread. When he lifted up his eyes to see, he saw people of his age with their family in beautiful cars. They are holding hands together. Then he asked, would he ever marry? What kind of a woman would like to marry an addict like himself? Not quite long, he was arrested into the drug rehabilitation center. There he received process of change. Well, I want us to talk about what led to Julio's change, the processes that led to the change in Julio's life.
Center to really comport himself, listen carefully and attentively to the directions of the instructors. So this really reinstated the control he has lost in the society back onto him. So Julio could have a happy life at the end. So if we also really could realize that indeed we are people who cannot change our lives. We are people who cannot transform our life. We are people who had failed in whatever addiction we have, in whatever we do, then we can have a change in our hearts.
All right. Thank you all very much. And so, whatever addiction we are in, if we could realize that we are people who cannot change by ourselves, then we can be able to receive change. But before the body change, it is the heart that must first change. Wow. So, listening to Mr. Samuel's story, his personal story is about he trying to become good students in mathematics. But in as much as he tried, he discovered one day by himself he could never become the best student that he has always dreamed to be. But when he realized there are people that are better off than him, and when he got closer to them, he was able to receive how they could be such good students in mathematics. But Mr. Samuel didn't just go, but first there was a change in his heart by discovering by myself I can never be able to be a good student in mathematics. So he took a step to find out from others who are better off than him. And amazingly, he said he became good, right?
Yes.
He became a good student in mathematics. Lovely viewers, you might be trying to also come out from one thing or the other that you are addicted to. By yourself, you cannot change. If only you discover this clearly, and then you would be able to connect to others. Really, Julio didn't just got that change in his life, but first the change occurred in his heart. He discovered he was a total failure. Are you struggling to be able to overcome something you've tried several times to do? Please send your stories to us, and then we will be able to guide you how you can also receive change in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Facebook, Time to Change Me in 10 Minutes TCM. And also share this video with your friends and send us your comments. Until we meet, same time, the talk show. Bye bye.
Dashing through the snow